On January 21, 1983, in the South China Sea, the Soviet nuclear submarine K-10 was submerged when it collided with an unknown object. The crew felt a strong impact that shook the entire hull of the submarine. According to the commander's recollection, there was a sensation that K-10 literally engaged with the unknown object, and for some time, they moved together. At 21:30, the submarine resurfaced. The crew observed the fleeting lights of the departing object. Upon returning to the base, specialists examined the damaged bow of the submarine and found a foreign piece of metal, presumably belonging to the unknown object. 2 years later, an article appeared in the Chinese press stating that in January 1983, a submarine with a large group of Chinese scientists perished in the South China Sea. K-10 belonged to the Project 675 submarines. The submarine's design was unconventional. It was nicknamed Raskladushka by Soviet sailors due to its collapsible structure and the noise it emitted, akin to a roaring cow. Despite the noise, Project 675 submarines could navigate the Mediterranean Sea unnoticed through the narrow Strait of Gibraltar. The power plant consisted of 2 VMA water-cooled nuclear reactors using thermal neutron technology. Highly enriched uranium dioxide fuel was used. The submarine was equipped with P-6 cruise missiles capable of striking surface ships beyond the radar horizon. At that time, these missiles were formidable and effective weapons. Guidance was conducted with high precision through noise selection. Due to the missile's high speed, interception by artillery fire was impossible, and its powerful warhead could destroy ships of any class at long distances. On January 21, 1983, one of the Project 675 submarines, K-10, was on combat duty in the South China Sea. Everything was going according to plan. When the submarine entered the designated area, Commander Valery Medvedev ordered a turn to a reverse course to inspect the dead zone behind the submarine. American submarines employed a tactic of following Soviet submarines at a short distance, trying to stay to the right of the screw line, which allowed them to be in the dead zone and remain unnoticed by the hydrolocator due to sound distortions from the rotating screw. Detecting objects behind the submarine was impossible due to this reason, necessitating tactical maneuvers involving frequent and sharp changes of course, up to the turn. American submariners dubbed this tactic of Soviet submarines as Mad Ivan. When a Soviet submarine engaged in maneuvers, American submarines would shut down their engines and declare a state of complete silence in compartments. However, due to the submarine's significant inertia, it continued to move forward, often leading to collisions. K-10 executed the turn as ordered by the commander, and the hydrolocators began probing the dead zone. But at that moment, the crew felt a strong impact. The Soviet submarine collided with an unknown object and, for some time, moved together with it. An emergency alarm was declared on K-10. The first 3 compartments had to be sealed off. The commander attempted to establish communication with the first compartment, but received no response. Meanwhile, the submarine continued at a slightly reduced speed, and the differential on the bow was restored after a few minutes. Communication with the first compartment was re-established. The crew reported that it was airtight. At 21:30, K-10 resurfaced. The commander began inspecting the sea surface through periscope optics, but no foreign objects were seen. Medvedev then ordered a return to the collision site. There he observed strange orange flashing lights that disappeared after 40 minutes. The flashing lights of the unknown object were also seen by the navigator and the signalmen. The commander reported the incident to the authorities and received orders to immediately set course for the Cam Ranh military base on the coast of Vietnam. K-10 sailed on the surface, escorted by the large anti-submarine ship Petropavlovsk. A boat with commission members and divers approached the submarine at the base. The crew was instructed not to disembark. Specialists inspected the submarine, noting severe damage to the bow. It seemed as if the object with which K-10 collided had sliced off the bow like a razor. A stuck metal piece belonging to the unknown object was also found. When K-10 returned to Pavlovsk, its deformed torpedo tubes containing nuclear warheads were removed. The watch and duty logs were confiscated by special department personnel. After examining all the documentation, including the main power plant log, the commission concluded that K-10 had significantly exceeded its speed regime, causing it to arrive at the designated area several hours earlier than scheduled. Entering the surveillance area ahead of schedule was prohibited, so K-10 circled until it collided with the unknown object. Many years later, after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Medvedev would recount in an interview that in January 1983, he believed his submarine collided with a Chinese submarine. In 1959, the Soviet leadership transferred technical documentation for Project 629 submarines to China. This series included Soviet diesel-electric submarines with ballistic missiles. In 1960, the first Chinese submarine of Project 629, designated 200, was laid down at a shipyard in Dalian. Simultaneously, another Project 629 submarine was laid down in Komsomolsk-on-Amur, which was transferred to the People's Republic of China in 1962 and designated 208. In 1985, a Chinese press obituary was published regarding the death of a large group of scientists on a submarine during ballistic missile tests in 1982. According to Medvedev, the lost Chinese submarine had the number 208. The Chinese side officially did not acknowledge that their submarine perished in a collision with the Soviet K-10. The purpose of the Chinese submarine, if it was indeed trailing K-10, remains a mystery. There have been no official statements regarding the accident that occurred on January 21, 1983, in the South China Sea.